having some coffee this morning, and we are going to make some cinnamon raisin bread, and we're going to make it in the bread maker. It's very fast, very easy. I really enjoy my bread maker, and I thought I would come on and show you how I do my cinnamon bread in my cinnamon bread maker. It's a cinnamon raisin bread, and you can make it two different ways. So I'll go through the process and then show you the way that I like to use the bread maker. So that'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. And then I'll show you the other process as to how to make your cinnamon raisin bread. So I got some coffee here, and I got all my ingredients out. So we'll go ahead and get started. So get you a warm drink. We have a snowstorm here, so I'm baking. And yes, this is a paranormal channel, but when it's cold and snowy outside, it's too cold and snowy to go ghost hunting. So I'm staying at home and I'm baking. So join me this morning. Let's have fun. Let's use the bread maker. Okay, let's get headed to the kitchen. Okay, so hopefully if you'll join me this morning. If not, you can catch this on a replay. And I did make one loaf yesterday. I normally make 2 loaves. So what I'm going to do is bring this down and let you see the loaf that I made yesterday. So that'll be the finished product. And I wrapped it in some saran wrap, and then we will slice it. So I'm going to go ahead and move that to the side. Make some room so I can set my camera down here so I'm not shaking around so bad. There we go. Okay, I think you can see everything really good there. Raise it up just a little bit. And what I'm using today is the Cuisinart. Bread maker. I love it. It's compact. It's nice. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to get out my little bread pan. Hi, good morning. And this has got the little beater that you insert. So we'll go ahead and get that inserted. I hope everybody's doing good this morning. Oops. It's not wanting to go in there very good. Hang on just a second. My hands are just not working for me very good this morning. Okay, so I got my beater pad back in. I got a bread maker like that. I love it. I do too. It's so, so nice. I just really enjoy it. And I did make 1 loaf yesterday, so we do have the finished product today, so we can take a look at that. So basically, I got my beater pad down in. And now I'm going to get my ingredients ready. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you might have seen that. I'm going to move it over a little bit. I hope I'm not jarring around too much. I mix up my own milk. And the reason I do that is because we do a lot of camping. So if you have whole milk, you don't have to do this. Now I got to make some. Yes, it's so easy. Now I usually make up my own milk. Now this recipe calls for whole milk. And you always want to make sure that you do go step by step and make sure that your ingredients are exactly what it calls for. That's your main thing. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my milk. And like I said, if you have whole milk, you won't have to go through this process. But if you're camping, this comes in very, very handy. So I'm going to go ahead and mix my milk up. And this is dry whole milk. And I like to keep some of this in the camper. And that way I have it on hand. And it's real easy. I just need 4 tablespoons of powder. So what I'm going to, and that will make 1 cup, 8 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 cups. So I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons. So if you have whole milk, this is one step that you won't have to go through. Put 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so then all I need is 1 cup or 8 ounces of water. So I'm going to double that, because I'm going to be making 16 ounces. So like I said, if you have whole milk, you won't have to go through this. I just do this because normally when I'm using the bread maker, I'm at camp and I can make any kind of bread that I want. Okay, so there's my first 8 ounces. So if you already have your whole milk, you'll skip this. And also I like to keep the dried milk because a lot of your bread maker recipes call for like your dried milk, especially your 2%. So like I said, if you have your whole milk, you can skip this one. This is just another little step, takes a little bit longer. But if I'm camping and I'm not close to a store, this comes in really, really handy. Okay. I'm just going to put my lid on and shake it up really good. We had a really good snowstorm here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go step by step through my instructions. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. Now you got to make sure you use every ingredient in the order. Now there's 2 different ways that you can make your cinnamon raisin bread. You can do it as a swirl, or you can do it as just a cinnamon raisin bread. Now what I'm making for my husband, like I said, this is from the loaf I made last evening. We're going to be showing you this product. We're going to be slicing it and letting you see how nice that looks. And that is a 2-pound loaf. So I'm making mine as a cinnamon swirl bread. So I need 1 1/4 cup, and make sure everything is room temperature for your bread maker. That's very, very important. So I need whole milk, room temperature, 1 1/4 cup. So we're going to be following our instructions right down the line. Okay. And make sure it's exact. It's very important. 1 1/4 cup of milk. And then we need unsalted butter, again, room temperature. And we need I'm making the 2-pound loaf. Now your bread maker will show you, if you've got one like mine, this is a 2-pound loaf, this is a 1.5, and this is a 1 pound. So it depends on what one you're making. We're making the 2-pound loaf, so we're following this one. So I've got 2.5 tablespoons of room temperature butter. And then we have 1 egg at room temperature. And then, let me get my hair back out of my way here. Then we've got 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, I always use 2 different sets of measuring spoons if I have them, because you don't want your salt and your yeast to touch each other. So I'm going to save those for my yeast, and I'm going to use these for my salt and for my cinnamon. So I need 1 teaspoon of salt. And you want to make sure that these are exact. So I always scoop it off just to make sure it's exact. Okay, now, if I was going to make the swirl bread, my recipe here says to add 1 1/2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. However, you would go down here, and this would be your swirl, because that would be separate. Well, since I'm making it all together as a cinnamon raisin bread and not a cinnamon swirl, we're going to go ahead and do the 1 1/2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And then what I would be adding for my swirl, I'm going to go ahead and add that too. So that would be 1/3 cup of sugar plus the 1 1/2 tablespoons of sugar. So we're going to go ahead. I've got that already measured out, because I'm not going to be swirling this today. I'm just going to be making a regular cinnamon raisin bread. So there's my sugar. My next one would be 4 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour. And because it likes to fluff up and make a mess, I always like to just kind of scoop mine in nice and easy. Wait a minute, let me get my salt off. I almost forgot my salt. Oh no, I did put my salt. Okay, I did it. Thought I got ahead of myself. Salt, sugar, flour. All right, we're doing good. I think Nan needed it's what the kids call me, Nan. I think Nan needed a little more coffee this morning. I just try to add this in slow because I don't want to have flour everywhere. And since I've measured this exact, I just want to make sure it's all in there. And then I kind of smooth my flour out to make sure that there's no liquid. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my cinnamon, because I'm not going to be doing the cinnamon swirl. So we're going to go ahead and just add our cinnamon. And it would be 2 1/2 teaspoons. And I'm just going to kind of add that around the top. And it will mix down in so nice. Okay, there's 2. And a half. And I apologize, I'm shaky. I have a lot of nerve damage, so it makes me shake. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lay that off to the side. And I'm going to kind of bring this down so you can see. I always try to make just a little bit of a hole in the center to put my yeast in, which is my last ingredient. And you can see I just have my cinnamon kind of scattered there across the top. And then I'm going to use this set of spoons because you don't want your salt to touch your yeast. And we're using the bread maker yeast. Make sure you use the bread maker yeast. Bring this back up. Okay. Hold on just one second. I had a kitty coming across over there. Don't know what he thought he was going to do. Okay, so we need 2 teaspoons of yeast. Again, make sure it is your bread maker yeast. And make sure it's exact. So again, I'm leveling everything off. And I'm just putting that in that little hole I made in the center. Okay, now that is everything that we need. And you can see there, the yeast is in that little hole I made in the center. Now we're going to go ahead and get that back into the bread maker. I have my Maltese puppy in the kitchen helping me this morning. And apparently Kitty is curious this morning. Let me go ahead and plug this in. Okay, now let me bring you over. Okay. Make sure you can see this okay. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to set my program. And I want to do a 2-pound loaf. And I'm going to use the number 1. Because I can adjust my bread size. So I want the 2-pound. And I'm going to do the darker crust. So I've got it on the setting for my color. You can choose whatever color you want. I prefer the darker one. And then just hit your start. Okay, so while that is doing that, we'll go ahead and move all this out of the way. And as you notice, I didn't add my raisins yet. Now, my bread maker has a alarm on it that will tell you if you want to add. It'll beep. So whenever it beeps, then I will go over and add my raisins. Okay, so I'm going to move all of this out of my way here. And my bread maker has a light, so I can go over if I want to turn on the light and look and see the product. Now, we're going to go ahead and show you the loaf that I made yesterday. And I do have the bread slicing guide. So this gives me perfectly even slices. I think you can see that. So what we're going to do is, this is the loaf, what the loaf will look like as the finished product. I made this one last evening. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and slice it. So let's get this one unwrapped. I just love this bread maker. If I've got stuff to do, I just put everything in it and just go about my day. So this is a beautiful loaf that you'll have from your bread maker. This is the finished product. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and slice that. Now I do have my slicer, so I'm cheating. But this will give me perfect slices. So we'll just go ahead and slice off a piece here, and you can see how nice this looks. Let's go ahead and do a couple slices. And I like this because it's quick, it's easy. Now these loaves are quite big, so when I go to put it in the toaster, what I do is I take one slice and I cut it in half, and then I put it in the toaster, and it is just the perfect size for the toaster. Wanted to get into the middle so you can see how nice that looks. And I like my slicer because I have perfect even slices of toast. And then what I'll do is just take a knife and cut diagonally across here. And I'll have me a really nice 2 pieces to put in my toaster. So we'll go ahead and slice a few more. I do like the slicer because I just can't judge anymore. And with the nerve damage that I took due to a work injury, I have a lot of nerve damage now. So, I cheat and use the bread slicer. And I like this one because it has a crumb catcher that you can take out. And then what I normally do to store this, because it's so thick, is I will take it and I can get 10 really nice slices. So what I'll do is take a freezer bag, a gallon freezer bag. I'll take 2 of them. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives me 5 nice slices. Again, we're going to open that up and let you see how pretty that is. And then I will take my slices, there, and just put them in a freezer bag. Because these are nice, big, thick slices. And you will find that they're taller than your toaster. So if you're going to toast them, like I said, I just cut mine in half. And then when I'm freezing this, I will split my loaf and I'll put it into 2-gallon freezer bags. So if I was going to be making toast, this would give me 10 slices because I'm cutting it in half for my toaster. So that gives me 10 slices of toast. We'll go ahead and move that one off to the side. And then we'll go ahead and just finish slicing this one. And I just absolutely love my bread maker because when you're camping, you can just put your bread in your bread maker And then when you're ready for a loaf of bread, you have a loaf of bread. You don't have to worry about running to the store. Or if it's cold and stormy out like it is here, I'll go ahead and make some bread up. And then I'll just freeze it. And then when I want to use it, I just lay out the freezer bag, let it thaw, and I have fresh bread. And like I said, I do shake a little bit. We're kind of listening for that alarm, because when it alarms, that's whenever I'm going to add my raisins. And you'll find as you get older, you just don't have the strength in your hands. So I like this bread slicer. It gives me nice even slices. Makes it easier for me as I'm getting older. Now, I did leave my paddle in, so you're going to see a little bit of a hole in the bottom of your loaf. Now, you can remove the paddle if you want to. Actually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should be 6 slices in each bag. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so it'll be 6 slices. I apologize. We will have 6 slices in each bag. I thought it was 5. So here's our first one. And I can just put that in the freezer. And that will give me 12 slices of toast because I'm cutting it in half. And I just love this bread. It's healthy. Doesn't have any preservatives. Again, in case you're just coming in, this is what this will look like. My raisins and my cinnamon is all spread out nicely. And I'm using the bread slicer so it's nice and even slices. And then I'm storing it, splitting it up and storing it into 2 freezer bags. Because my husband likes this for toast of a morning. And because this is so big, I cut it in half. So that will give me 12 slices of toast. And I'm using the, I hope you can see that okay, our bread, our daily bread. And it has the guide so you can nicely cut your slices even. And it has a crumb catcher. And I love it because you can just take your crumb catcher out, shake all of your crumbs in it, and it is easy cleanup. So that is how I do mine. Of course, I have a few crumbs here and there. So that's quick and easy. So I'm going to bring you back over here. And you can see this is kneading. Now mine has the light. So we can go ahead and come up. And you can look down in there and see how nicely everything's mixing up. Now this is my first knead. And then it will go through more kneads. And then when it alarms, I'll come back then and add my raisins. Okay, so if you give me just 1 minute here, I'm going to move this out of my way. And I have got some pinto beans on in my crock pot, so I'm going to stir them up while over here. So do you have any questions? This is very easy, very simple. And mine has a delay on it, so if I want warm bread, I can set my delay. But the main thing is make sure all your ingredients, number one, are at room temperature. And then follow your instructions right down the line. Now, if I was going to be making the swirl bread, because I'm just making a cinnamon raisin bread, I'm not doing the swirl. So if I was actually doing the cinnamon raisin swirl, there would be another step that I would go through. So what I would do then is I would do all of my dough ingredients first. Then down here is your cinnamon swirl. So you would add all of these and get that started. Then on the side you would do your sugar, your cinnamon, and your raisins. And then you would go follow your instructions for the swirl. Whenever your dough comes to its final rise, you would take it out. You would put it in the add, when it tells you to add it. You would take it out and you would kind of roll your dough out. And then you would put your cinnamon, your sugar, and your raisins. And then you would roll it almost like a cinnamon roll. And of course, you would have your dough paddle, you know, that's going to be mixing all of this. So you want to take that dough paddle out. You would follow your instructions. You would mix it all. You would pat out your dough. You would add your cinnamon, your sugar, and your raisins. And then you would roll it like you would do a cinnamon roll. Tuck in your edges and then set it back down in your bread pan. Put it back in to bake. So I'm not doing that part. We're just making a basic cinnamon raisin. So we're not doing a swirl. Okay. So hopefully you can see how simple and easy that is. I didn't know if I would like the bread maker. I was so used to doing bread the old-fashioned way. But I really like this bread maker. It's compact. It's easy to take camping. And we do camp a lot in the summer. We're getting older, so we like to travel and enjoy our camper. And so now all we got to do is wait. And when we hear 5 beeps, we'll come back in and we'll add 1 1/4 cups of raisins. And right now it is on its first rise. So I'm going to now just wait till it beeps. And then we will come back in and add the raisins. And again, I just wanted you to see how pretty the loaf is. How nice that mixes your raisins and your cinnamon together. You have such a pretty loaf. Nice slices. I love it. It's fresh. It's soft. And you can choose the crust color that you like. This is the one that I prefer and that my husband prefers. And he's the cinnamon raisin bread eater. So since it's his preference, we tried all the different settings on the collar, and that's the one he chose that he likes. I'm going to go ahead and empty my crumbs. And I normally do 1 loaf for here at home and then 1 loaf for the camper. So again, I'm kind of cheating. I'm using the Our Daily bread slicer. So that gives me nice even slices because as I'm getting older, I just can't use my hands like I used to. And I love it because all your crumbs are in your crumb catcher. It eliminates most of your crumbs from being all over. And as you get older and your hands don't work as nice, it's kind of nice to have something like that that'll help. So what we're going to do now is just wait for that to beep. It'll be 5 long beeps. Then we'll go add the raisins. So I'm going to take my coffee. I'm going to come in here and sit down. And I'm going to wait a few minutes for it to get done to the point where it beeps. I'm going to set you down there. So do you have any questions? I just wanted you to see how nice, easy, simple that can be to go in and make your own bread using the bread maker. And that's the Cuisinart 110. And I love it because it's real compact, easy to use, and bread making made simple. And I'm in my boots and my leggings in case my puppy needs to go POTTY. We are POTTY training. He's 7 months old this month, and he is absolutely amazing. So does anybody have any questions? I hope that made it pretty simple and easy. So basically, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy a cup of coffee, a little bit of coffee, till my bread maker beeps 5 times. Then I will go in and add my raisins and just let it bake. And then I already have my 1 loaf that I did yesterday. And I always like to wrap it in plastic wrap and just let it set. And then whenever I want to go in and slice it and put it in my freezer bags, I can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one away. And then the one that comes out today, that we're doing today, then I'll put it away. And like I said, the bread loaf is a 2-pound loaf, and it's pretty tall. And my toaster, if I take it and just lay the bread out and cut it in half, it makes 2 perfect slices of toast in my toaster. Now, you may have a bigger toaster you can put your whole slice in, but I can't. So anyway, that is so simple, so easy. I'm going to have a cigarette, so if that bothers you, please, you might want to step out of the room. But I'm going to sit here and have me a cigarette. This is an adult channel. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make my second loaf of bread. I'll bring you all along, let you see how easy that is. And then I've got some house chores to get done. I don't have to worry about it, think about it. It's in the bread maker. It's making while I'm doing my other chores. I absolutely do like the bread maker. I didn't think I would. And it took me just a little bit to get used to it. But now I absolutely love it. So I hope that helps. If you do have a bread maker, the main thing is make sure that all your ingredients is to room temperature. That is very important. Make sure you measure exactly. And with mine, which with most bread makers, make sure you go right down the line. Don't skip a process. Go right down the line and add your ingredients. And make sure when you put your flour in over top of your wet ingredients, before you add your yeast, make sure that the flour is completely covering any wet ingredients. And then I like to make a small hole, and not very deep, just a little dip, and put my yeast in it. That way I know that it's not touching the liquid and it's not touching the salt. And make sure, like I said, everything is room temperature. But it's quick, it's easy. I will be right back. I went in to get my kitty some water. So basically what mine is doing now is it will knead, and then it will rise, and it will knead and rise. And then mine has the alarm on it to let you know to add. Mine's got 5 long beeps. And when I hear those 5 long beeps, then I'll go in and add my raisins. But I went ahead and added my cinnamon and my sugar that I would normally keep if I was making the swirl. Because I'm not doing a swirl today. I'm just doing basic cinnamon raisin bread. So the only thing I need to add is my raisins. So when that alarms, we'll go in and add the raisins, and that's all we need to do. So I hope that was helpful. My mother-in-law just absolutely fell in love with my bread maker. So we got her a bread maker for Christmas, and we got her the Our Daily Bread Slicer Guide, because she is in her 80s, and I think she'll enjoy it. She seemed to be so tickled. She said, "Oh, I can't wait to go home and to get it all set up and to try it out." So, trying to think if there was anything that I may have forgotten. Make sure that you do use your bread making yeast. Don't try to use or substitute another yeast. Everything room temperature, everything exactly measured, and go step by step, just like you're reading the directions of the recipe. Take it in the order that you see it. Don't skip or put something ahead of the other. Now, the only thing I did different with mine is I'm not doing the swirl, so I went ahead and added what sugar and cinnamon that I would be using for the swirl. And I'm going to go ahead and let that mix. And the only thing I held off to the side was the raisins. And then we'll add the raisins when this beeps and tells me to go ahead and add the raisins. So I wanted you to see the finished loaf, and that is a 2-pound loaf. And I have mine on the crust collar setting that I wanted. And you can do mine has 2-pound, 1.5 pound, or 1/2 pound. So you can choose your size of the loaf. So if I wanted a regular toast size, I would just go to a smaller recipe according to the bread size. But I wanted the 2-pound because I can get more slices out of it. If I'm camping, I just have to take the 1-gallon freezer bag, and that will give me 12 slices of toast while we're camping. And then, like I said, I normally do 1 loaf for here, and then do 1 loaf to take camping. And I'll make regular bread, regular white bread, and then I'll make the raisin cinnamon bread. And then I'll have plenty of bread for when we go camping. And then, if it's a storm and you can't get out, can't go get your bread, I always keep some of mine in the freezer. If I want bread, it's already made, it's already sliced. I just take that gallon bag out, let it thaw, and I have fresh bread. So it's very convenient to me. I really enjoy the bread maker. I wasn't sure what I would think of it. I did make pizza dough in it, and it made amazing pizza dough. Mine has the dough, different bread settings, jam, and then doughs. And I tried the pizza dough, and it was so fluffy and so delicious. It made an absolutely wonderful pizza dough. So that's basically what I'm doing this morning. I thought I would bring you along. And we've got all of that in the bread maker. We're just waiting for it to let us know it's time to add our raisins. And then we'll just add the raisins, and I can go ahead and do all my chores. And when I'm ready for homemade bread, it's done, it's ready, it's warm. And I do like to stay warm on mine. It'll stay warm. If I do want warm bread, I can delay my time, set it, and then we can have nice warm bread. But if I'm going to be slicing my bread, I want it to be cool. So I will do mine and let it cool. Then I'll wrap it in plastic wrap. And then when I'm ready to slice it, I know that it's cool and there's no condensation, and I can slice it and put it in gallon freezer bags and freeze it. So that's what I'm doing this morning. I've seen a few come in, and if you go back to the beginning, you'll see the actual loaf, how I had it wrapped in plastic. That was the finished product, and that is a 2-pound loaf. And it raises so nice, and it's so soft and fluffy, and you don't have all those artificial ingredients. It's basic ingredients. You can make it ahead of time and freeze it like I like to do, or you can make it for the day if you're wanting it for the day. And if you are giving out gifts, they make absolutely wonderful gifts. Like I said, my mother-in-law fell in love with mine. She tried the bread, she loved it, so we, for Christmas, got her own bread maker, and then I went ahead and got her our daily bread slicer guide, so it would be easier for her to slice the bread. And she's by herself, and she's in her 80s, so that's convenient for her. She don't have to go out to the store if the weather's bad, and she can make her own bread. So she was absolutely thrilled with her Christmas gift. So, with me being a little more old-fashioned, I was used to doing all my bread in the oven, you know, mixing everything up, and I thought, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to adjust to the bread maker. I don't know if I'm going to like the bread maker, but I do. I really like it. It's convenient. I can go about my day. I can get up and put everything into the bread maker and just walk away, go get all my chores done. If I need to go get groceries or go shopping, I know that the bread baker's going to make the bread, and I don't have to worry about being home to go through that whole bread making process. So to me, I think it's wonderful. It's convenient. I love the textures of the bread. They're nice and soft. And my husband likes the Raisin cinnamon bread, so I always make sure that he has the Raisin cinnamon bread. I've tried it. I've tried the white bread. I've tried the pizza dough on the bread maker. Love the pizza dough. I made a pizza, and it was like a really nice pan pizza. It turned out nice, fluffy. So I did not go wrong investing in this bread maker. I've had it now for quite some time. I've baked several loaves through the bread maker. So I really enjoy it. I just thought I'd come on, show you my process. Now, if you do want the swirl, like I said, it takes a little bit longer for the swirl, because you'll let it go to the point where it's went through its rises, and then you would take your dough out, you would pat your dough out, and then you would add your cinnamon sugar and raisins, and then roll it like a cinnamon roll. And then you would take your corners and fold them under, make sure you remove your paddle, and then just put it back in and let it do the baking. And that will give you the swirl. Now, I didn't do the swirl today. I just did the basic cinnamon raisin bread. So, hopefully that was pretty easy. Oops. Let's see if I can decline that. I don't think my sister realized I was on a live. So she calls, and I have to leave my phone on today. I have a little neighbor lady across from me, and she is not able to get up and take care of herself. Sorry, I'm trying to decline it. Hopefully she'll realize I'm on live, but I can't turn my phone off, so I apologize. And she's my neighbor lady, and she's not able to get up and take care of herself. She's paralyzed. and we've had a really bad winter storm come through. And yesterday her aides were not able to come in. She's got aides that come in the morning, and then aides that come in the afternoon. Well, because of the winter storm, her aides were not able to come in. So when that happens, I want to be available for her. So yesterday I went over and made sure that she had her breakfast, her lunch, and then we made a real nice dinner, and I took her dinner, made sure all of her needs were met. So I have to leave my phone on in case she needs me and needs to call, because she can call me and I can just walk right across to her. She's just right across from me. And I think it's really nice to be able to help your neighbor when you can. We never know whenever we may need help, and someone's kind enough that they will stop in and help us in our time of need. That's the way I was raised. That's what I believe in. So that's just the way I am. And unfortunately, my sister doesn't realize I'm on live, and I can't turn mine to Do Not Disturb because of my little neighbor lady. So I'm just real life here. This is our real life. This is what we do. I'm not here as a professional. I'm just taking you through what I'm doing. It's winter time, and I'm now disabled, so I can't go out and do things like I used to in the winter. So even though this is a paranormal channel, when it's this cold and winter out, I don't go ghost hunting. It's not the time for me to go ghost hunting. So I brought you along for some baking. And I've added a few of them on the channel. And then my daughter also enjoys me doing that, because she seems to learn better if she's right there with me and I'm doing a recipe and she can see step by step how I'm doing something. And she gets overwhelmed easy. So this way, if I'm making the videos and I'm adding them onto my channel and she wants to make something because she does live in another state, she can just turn it on and watch Mom go through step by step. So it's helpful to her. And she said that she really enjoys that. She said, I'm glad that you added that, Mom. So, it's my channel, and I'll just, add things here and there. And with the winter time, what I normally do is, if I'm going to go be doing some investigating, I always do research when it comes to the paranormal. And I'm very, very choosy about where I go, what I'm going to go investigate. So I'm not really that interested in places that are rumored to have paranormal activity or to be haunted. What I'm looking for is, I want to do the research, and I've found that most of them are so expensive, and in order to pay those amounts, a lot of people go as groups to split the expense, for the paranormal investigating. And in my opinion, if you have a group of people, you are always going to have some type of noise contamination. People talking, moving around, and things like that. So it's normally my husband and my daughter will accompany us. And we always make sure that when we are doing our investigation that there's no noise contamination, because if there's noise contamination, your whole investigation evidence is contaminated. So I don't like to go to some place that charges so much money that you would have to get a group of people in order to go investigate. So I'm very choosy about where I go. Again, I like to do my research. I want to know the history, and not just the history of, the haunting, or the paranormal activity. I go as far back as I can go on any piece of property. Is it the original property? Was there something else on the property prior? Um, when I'm looking at the structure, I want to look at, when was it built, the land that it was built on, what was the land prior to that being built. If it's a structure that I'm going to visit and to investigate. So I like to try and do my research, and when it's cold and storming and I really can't be out in the winter weather, then I will go ahead and prepare for my next investigations. So even though I'm not out doing my paranormal, I'm investigating. I'm doing my research. I'm putting together everything that I'm going to need before I actually go out. I'm checking my equipment. If I have new equipment, that gives me a time to go through, try out my new equipment, get familiarized with my new equipment, because I need to know, is this equipment working the way that it should be working? I purchased this equipment for a particular thing, and then I want to run it through test and make sure, is this equipment doing, number one, what I purchased it for? Is it accurate? And in order for me to do that, I need to do multiple tests. And I need to not just test that piece of equipment, but other pieces of equipment that I've already tested, proven that they work, and then compare the results. So that way I'm still researching. I'm basically doing investigating, because I'm investigating my equipment. And it gives me plenty of time. I don't feel rushed. I can familiarize myself with the new equipment. And I enjoy just being able to feel unstressed, because when I'm going in to do an investigation, I want to be as prepared as I can be. And that is my equipment, that is my research, everything that I'm doing. I want the investigation to be as accurate as it can be. I want my equipment to be reliable. And then I can take everything that I get from that investigation, if it's at a home and I've been called in because someone's having a problem, then I can put all of my information together, all of my tests, what I have done during that investigation, audio, video, and equipment, and then I can put it all together, and then whenever I come in to present what my findings are, everything is together. I can show this person, this is what I found. Okay, now we have heard the 5 beeps. That's what we were waiting for. So now we're going to put in our final product. Mine has the alarm, which is really nice. And all I have to do is add my raisins. And I just add them slowly, so it kind of mixes smooth and even. You can pause your machine during this, or you can just let it knead, because it's kneading. I'll bring you over and let you see that. And then that will knead in nice and smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and close that back. While I'm over here, I'm going to go ahead and check on my pinto beans I've got in crock pot. Give them a little stir. And then if you just came in, I will go ahead and show you the finished product. I've sliced this. I put it in gallon bags. I have nice even slices, as you can see. Well, maybe you can't see. Let me go ahead and wash my hands since I just put some lotion on. I like that mine has the add-in alarm. So if I'm off doing something, I can hear the alarm. I know it's time to add my final. If I was doing like a banana nut bread, I would add now my raisins and my nuts. But we're just adding the raisins because we're doing a cinnamon raisin bread. And this is what your final product will come out looking like. The raisins are nicely mixed throughout the bread. It's got such a pretty color. It smells delicious. It's nice and moist. You can see the grain. Bring it a little bit closer so you can see that nice grain to that bread. And you can see how nice those raisins mixed in there. Yes, it turned out beautiful. And then one loaf. This is a 2-pound loaf that I made. And then I will separate mine. It's just my husband and I. So I will I cheat and use Our Daily Bread Slicer Guide. You can see the little gods there. Just lay your loaf on, and it'll give you your guide for your knife, and you cut perfect slices. And I like this because of the crumb catcher. All your crumbs will go in. Just empty your crumbs, and it's very easy cleanup. And then your loaves turn out so nice. And then what I will do is I will divide my loaf into 2-gallon freezer bags. And they've got 6 slices in each one. And because I did the 2-pound loaf, the loaf is pretty good size. So for my toaster, I will just cut this right in half, the slice in half, and then put it in my toaster, and it makes perfect slices. Give us our daily bread, yes. Give us our daily bread slicer, yes. And it's giving us our daily bread. So this gives me 12 slices. I've got 6 in each bag. The 2-gallon bags. And I'll go ahead and freeze them. And I like to take them camping. Or if I just need a loaf of bread, I will go ahead and freeze them, lay them out, let them thaw, and I have bread. So again, it's absolutely easy, simple. I'm using the Cuisinart 110. We'll go back over here and I'll turn this light on. Mine has the light. And you can see down in there how nice that is mixing up. The raisins are blending in. And you have all the settings. I just follow the settings. I'm using number 1 because with number 1 I can use the 2-pound loaf. And then I would set my collar. Now, if you were doing a sweet bread, which you can use on this same one, it only lets you make the 1.5 pounds. So it depends on what size loaf that you want. And I like mine because it's got all the different settings. And I just follow my instructions. And again, like I said, I didn't do the swirl today. I just did the basic cinnamon raisin. So that's the last part that I needed to do. And that gets everything all in there, and now I'll just let it go through its bake cycle. I need one. Well, now mine is the Cuisinart 110, and I love it. Now mine, you can get that in 2 different sizes, the Cuisinart. Mine's the compact, and I like the compact because it's easy to take with you. I make bread, Great Depression style, no machine. And see, that's what I did. I used to make bread, I still do. But if I'm camping and I run out of something and I don't have everything I need to make my bread, it's so nice just to have, or if I just want to make a loaf and we're going to be at the camper and we're going to be out doing little events, I can just put all this in my bread maker. It's compact, it's easy to take with me to the camp and to the camper, and I can just throw everything in my machine and go do what I'm doing and then come back and have it made. So to me, it's just a little bit more convenient. I love homemade bread done, like you said, the old-fashioned way in the oven. And but whenever you're camping and you're out and you're doing things, it's kind of nice to have that extra convenience. So that's one reason I invested in it. Now mine is the Cuisinart 110, and it's the compact. So it's not much bigger than a toaster. It's easy to just take with you when you're traveling, and I love it. So that was my bread making, and you can go back to the beginning if you didn't get to see the whole loaf, and that is a 2-pound loaf. And like I said, because it is so tall, I just take mine and cut it in half, and it's perfect for the toaster size. Yes, if you cut it in half. Yes. Now, if you try to if you have a bigger toaster, you might be able to put it in there. But I've noticed if I try to put it in, it's taller than my toaster. But if I cut it in half and just put it in, it is perfect 2 slices of toaster. So 1 slice makes 2 slices of toast. And it toasts so nice that way. So it's nice, it's convenient, I really like it. It's just something extra that I did for myself. And I thought, as I'm getting older and I've got more nerve damage because I was injured at work and my left side took a lot of injury. My left ankle and foot took the blunt of it. And now I'm disabled. And they had to put a stimulator in my back. May God continue to richly bless you, ma'am. Thank you for your time. Oh, well, thank you so much, Little Bit Pumpkin Spicy. I like your name. I like that. That's really nice. Yeah, but that's what I'm doing today. And I'm going to be doing some laundry. And like I said, we have a major winter storm here. And unfortunately, my little neighbor lady is not able to take care of herself. She is paralyzed. She has aides that come early in the morning and stay till early afternoon. And then another shift of aides will come in the afternoon and up until her bedtime. Well, with the winter storm we got, both of her shifts of aides have canceled yesterday and today. So I helped her out yesterday. I'm not really able to do a whole lot myself because I'm disabled myself, and with the stimulator in my back, it makes it a little hard for me to do everything I wish I could do. But I do make sure that all of her needs are met. I make sure she has breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're all home-cooked meals, and she is such a delight, and she's so grateful, so grateful. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm sorry that my sister called. She didn't realize I was on a live, but I could not do a do not disturb because my neighbor lady, like I said, she is paralyzed. She can use her hands and arms really good. So if she needs me, she can call me, and I'm just right across from her, and I can go right quick and be there for her because her aides are not there. So I apologize if I had any beeps. And I apologize. My sister called. Like I said, I cannot do the do not disturb. And so I hope that will be helpful. The main thing is definitely make sure you get all of your ingredients to room temperature. That's very, very important. make sure that your ingredients are measured exactly as your directions ask you to do, and then follow your step-by-step directions. Make sure that you don't skip any directions. So I hope that was helpful. Again, mine's the Cuisinart 110. I really like it. I like the features. My daughter came over one day and we wanted to make a pizza, and I didn't have any pizza dough ready. So I just put everything together and put it in the bread maker and got some pizza dough ready, and we had the most delicious pan pizza. It raised so nice in the oven. So there's so many different features besides just making bread that I like about this one. It's very nice for making dough. If I didn't want to use the bread maker and wanted to go ahead and get it to the point where it can be put in as a loaf pan and put it in the oven and bake it, you have that option. So I enjoy this one. I'm glad that I got it. And like I said, my mother-in-law loved it so much that we got her one too. So I hope that was helpful. I don't want to stay on here very long. I'm going to go ahead and get my little neighbor lady's breakfast ready. I'm going to she's going to have some fresh raisin cinnamon toast, and I'm going to make her some scrambled eggs and bacon. So she'll have some scrambled eggs, bacon, and fresh cinnamon toast. Cinnamon raisin bread toast. I think I needed a little more coffee this morning. I was up late trying to do my things yesterday and help the neighbor lady, and also training my Maltese puppy. So I'm a little tired today, and I had to fill in for her aids a few times this week, and until this winter weather system goes through, she's not going to have any aids. None of them have a four-wheel drive, and they're afraid to be out on the roads, which I understand. And I'm glad they're staying safe. Hi, it's Tia. Well, hello, Tammy. Happy New Year to you. I need to get myself a bump of coffee as well. Yes, I think I needed a little more coffee this morning. I was trying to get my husband up and get him up and ready. He wanted to go out and go to town and pick up a few things, because right now we have some snow that hit, and it hit pretty heavy. And then following this is to be ice. So there can be power outages that could last for hours or for days. So I'm hoping we don't get that. And we did get, I would say, a good 6 inches or more, maybe 8 inches of snow. And my little Maltese puppy was not impressed. He at first he thought this is going to be fun, and he took a leap, and he just kind of dropped down in the snow, and I think it scared him for a minute, and now he thinks it's fun, so he goes out and he plays. So we're puppy training, and I said I'm in training too, because my Maltese was 13 and we lost him in June. So we have the new puppy. He's amazing. He's actually right here. Let me show you where he's at. He took a toy and he's taking a little nap. He said, this winter weather is wearing me out. That is Ryder. So he's taking a nap. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you do have a bread maker, I enjoy it. I didn't know what I would think of it, but I do like it. It's very handy, convenient, especially for camping. And so anyway, I thought I would stop in and share that with you, get my day started. I went ahead and put on my boots and leg warmers just in case Ryder needed to go POTTY. I wouldn't have to stop and get everything on. So I really appreciate everybody stopping in, and I so appreciate your patience, because I am by no means a professional cook. This is just my daily life. We are remodeling my home, so I'm limited on where I'm actually filming from. And then me adjusting to the second stimulator. The first one malfunctioned and had to be removed, so they had to put the second stimulator in my back. So me adjusting to that second surgery and the trauma of that surgery, and adjusting to the new stimulator and how it works, I do like this one better. I don't seem to be having as many problems with this one. The last one, I had so many problems, and it took them about a year to get the new stimulator. And because it was, of course, a work-related injury, we had to go through workers' comp, and that takes a while. So I had to be patient. My body's been through a lot of trauma. First the injury, the nerve damage that it caused, then the first, the physical therapy, the first stimulator in my back, and now number 2. This is the second stimulator in my back. And like I said, I think this one is so much better. The battery is smaller. It seems to be doing a lot better job. I don't have as much pain. Of course, I'm always going to have pain because the impact was so hard that it destroyed the nerves and some of the nerves in my foot. So that's why I have the stimulator. So if you see me shaky, of course, my body's been through a lot. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. I just thought I would stop in, share this with you. Again, I'm not a professional, but, I'm learning, and if you want to learn, maybe we can learn together. So until next time, I hope you stay in. If you're in this path of this winter storm, it is very nasty outside, very cold. All day yesterday, it looked like we were in a giant snow globe. And so I'm doing my own things here, and then of course I'm assisting my little neighbor lady. So, if you can, share a little bit of kindness today. If you can help somebody, please do. I was just raised that we love one another. We love our neighbors. We respect our neighbors. And that's just the way I was raised. So that just comes very natural to me. So I'm glad that her aides are staying home on the slick roads. I'm just right across from her. So, I can take my time and just, walk over slow. I don't want to take a fall. I already took one fall here a couple weeks ago. So Thursday I have to go in and have my leg checked. But I'm very close. But I don't want to see 2 shifts of her aides have to come out on bad roads. They need to really stay home, stay warm, and be with their family and be safe. So it's very nice that I'm able to be here and able to help her. So, until next time, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. I have some chores to do. I'm going to start some laundry. And then get my little neighbor lady's breakfast ready. We're going to scramble some eggs, have some bacon, and I sliced the cinnamon raisin bread, so she's going to have some fresh cinnamon raisin bread toast. So, until next time, I want you to stay safe, stay warm, and please be kind. Be kind to one another. This world needs a lot more kindness. So until next time, I'm going to go ahead and go, get some chores done. I want to thank you for stopping in. And until next time, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here and get busy. So I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.